All right, 'tis the season for quarterback movement in the NFL. We thought this offseason might be full of insane moves, and it's already delivering. Carson Wentz out in Indianapolis. He is now your newest quarterback for the Washington Commanders. This move smells of desperation from Ron Rivera and Washington. I really don't get this move. I'm going to break down everything going on with this story, as well as give you my 2 cents on the whole situation. But if you could first, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you get these daily update videos, share this video with your friends. It really helps the channel out a lot. We are growing like crazy. All right, so former Indianapolis Colt, former Philadelphia Eagle quarterback Carson Wentz is being traded to the Washington Commanders for a haul of picks here. And this move really reeks of desperation from Washington. I don't quite understand it. So they're going to be getting Carson Wentz and the Colts' second-round pick this year in exchange for their second-round pick this year. So they basically swap seconds, 5 spots really, 42 to 47, a third-round pick this year, and a conditional pick next year. Could either be a third-round pick or a second-round pick. If Wentz plays 70% of the snaps, it will be a second-round pick Washington will send over next year. So I would expect that, honestly, the way things are set up. So they're giving up a lot for Carson Wentz, who was absolutely terrible down the stretch last year. He's a shell of his former self, and man, really don't understand what happened to Carson Wentz. Colts were cooking in the middle 2/3 of the season last year when they could run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. He was absolutely scoring 1 million touchdowns a game, playing good defense. Wentz was making throws, making plays, and they were winning. Then down the stretch in crunch time when teams took away JT, he absolutely shit the bed. It was embarrassing. It all culminated in that final season, regular season game loss at the Jacksonville Jaguars, the worst placed team in the NFL. All they had to do was win and get in. Wentz was horrible. He reverted back to the bad Wentz we saw in Philadelphia. Horrible reads, horrible decisions, throwing interceptions, just really unexplainable. For a guy who seemed like he was about to win the MVP in 2017, has really fallen off the face of the earth as far as quarterback play. The Eagles fleeced the Colts, and good on the Colts. They spent a first-round pick to get Wentz, so they don't have a first-round pick this year. But they admitted their mistake. The reports came out a couple weeks ago that they were looking to move on from Wentz, and they are moving on. But on the flip side, what is Washington doing here? You're giving up these picks. They're going to pay Carson Wentz all $28 million he's owed, including his $5 million signing bonus at the start of the new league year. And this move just absolutely smells of desperation. Carson Wentz went 9-8 with a great defense, with a great offensive line, and a great running back and run game, and he was awful. Now, he doesn't have great receivers or playmakers. You know, say what you want about Indianapolis there, but still, 9-8 from that guy. When the Commanders, Taylor Heineke, went 7-8 last year with the worst defense in football for the first 8 games. Really picked it up down there towards his back end of the season, but then lost Chase Young, their best pass rusher, and so things kind of fizzled out. They got Terry McLaurin, so maybe they're thinking they got elite wide receivers out there to help out Wentz, but still, this reeks of desperation. Now, Carson Wentz has been a starter in this league for a long time, so he knows the ins and outs of the league, but man, he has regressed massively from what we thought he was going to be, and this move smells of desperation, like I said, from Washington. This couldn't have been their first, second, third, fourth. This is like their 6th or 7th move. It had to be. They had been calling all the teams the reports were, checking on the quarterbacks. They had made an offer to Seattle for Russell Wilson. Clearly, they weren't willing to pay what the Broncos just paid to get Russell, even though I don't think they gave up too much, honestly, Denver, to get Russell. Maybe Russell was not rubber stamping that move to Washington. I don't blame him. There's so much turmoil in the front office, lawsuits, all this shit going on with Washington. But Riverboat Ron's a very stable head coach. They were in the playoffs just 2 seasons ago and gave the eventual Super Bowl champion Buccaneers a real good game in the playoffs with Taylor Heineke. So I don't understand this move. Maybe, obviously, Aaron Rodgers coming back. That was their first move. Russell Wilson probably said no. That was their second move. They're not in on Deshaun Watson. I get that. There's a lawsuit against Washington due to misbehavior with women within the organization. Watson obviously has all that baggage on top of that, so they weren't touching Watson. But Carson Wentz? Really? Like, oh, good God. Now, Wentz is going to have a little time for redemption here. Gets to play his former team, the Eagles, twice, and also gets to play the Colts next year. So maybe Carson Wentz just goes on this vendetta revenge tour or something against his former teams. But man, oh man, two teams have already bailed on Carson Wentz. I don't get this move from Washington. Now, maybe they're going to draft another quarterback in this year's draft and just play it by ear and figure out what they're going to do. Play Wentz, maybe get the rookie ready. But they think they can win. They have a pretty good roster to win games. Obviously, I said they won the division 2 years ago. In the NFC East hasn't gotten that much better. I mean, I don't trust the Eagles quarterback situation. They're making phone calls to everybody to get a new quarterback. And then Dallas. It's Dallas, We can't trust Dallas, let's be honest. And the Giants are a dumpster fire. So they think they have a really good team. It feels like they were setting up for a big, big move, but this just feels like a pie in the face. Total disaster for them. I do not get this move at all for Washington. Now, maybe Ron Rivera has a plan. I don't know. Maybe they're looking. Maybe they'll trade another quarterback. It just feels so weird. Now, on the flip side of this, what are the Colts going to do at quarterback? The Colts were a team that feel like they can make the playoffs. They feel like they're a contender. Their roster's great. They have such good defense, such good offensive line, really good running back in Jonathan Taylor. Need a couple receivers, but Michael Pittman came on strong down the end of the stretch. They're not going to ride with like Eason at quarterback or Sam Ehlinger. There's no way. So the Colts are now in the market. I'm thinking Jimmy Garoppolo maybe. Jimmy G fits that kind of system. Maybe they go all in and try and get Kirk Cousins, but they don't have picks. And the Vikings, if they're shipping out Cousins, they want picks. Same thing with Deshaun Watson. Now, Watson is the big one to watch. He might be on the move sooner rather than later. The grand jury will hear the evidence in his criminal trial case on Friday, this Friday coming up, so we could have a real answer on Deshaun Watson. If there's no criminal charges being pressed, that opens more things up. The NFL, I expect, will drop the suspension down really quickly. I'm thinking anywhere from 4 to 8 games for Watson, just conduct detrimental to the league and stuff like that. So this really could open up the Watson situation in the coming days. It's a big news. So maybe Indianapolis makes a move there, but I really don't think they wouldn't get rid of Wentz unless they had a solid plan at quarterback. Obviously, the top two dogs off the list. No Rodgers, no Russell Wilson available anymore. So it'll be really interesting to see what the Colts do moving forward, what the Watson situation is going to look like, and is Kirk Cousins on the market and available for teams? Another big-time quarterback. We know Jimmy G's available. There's a couple of free agent quarterbacks, Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater. I just don't think anybody's very high on them. They're very lukewarm on those guys, which I get. There hasn't been great play behind those two guys. But it'll be really interesting to see. I still think there's a ton more moves to be made in this upcoming offseason. Plus the draft, we got Malik Willis, we got Kenny Pickett, we got Desmond Ridder, lots of guys that are slowly but surely making their way up to the draft board. We thought nobody was going to be drafted in the top 15. Now reports as many as 3 guys could be going in the top 15. So very interesting to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, share this video with your friends, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.